two-player rules for the Great Wall can be used in a standard competitive mode or in the cooperative mode. In two-player games, an AI faction known as the Reed Clan is used to provide additional interaction opportunities. However, the Reed Clan is too weak to gain enough honor to be a challenge to the players, so you will not be keeping track of the Reed Clan's honor. I covered the setup of a two-player game in part 1 of this series, and now we'll cover the gameplay changes for a two-player game. The Reed Clan will never track honor, shame tokens, or resources. They also never save soldiers. Any horde cards they defeat are discarded. Reed Clan soldiers are never placed in the rest zone. Instead, if an ability would ever make them go to the rest zone, they are placed back in their pool instead. If a Reed Clan clerk is the only clerk on a special location, that location does not activate. As we discussed in part 1, the Reed Clan starts with 3 clerks on the board. They may never have more or less than those 3, no matter the circumstances. There also can never be more than 1 Reed Clan clerk in the same location at the same time. After a location with the Reed Clan clerk is activated, the players remove their clerks as normal, but the Reed clerk is not removed and stays on that location. The Reed Clan has only 1 command card and plays it every fall. When higher than the players on the T-track, the Reed Clan always places their command card in the first available slot on the command track. Whenever a player is the active player, they are considered the Overlord, and they will perform the actions of the Reed Clan during their turn. When the Reed Clan is the current active player, the highest player in T order becomes the Overlord and resolves the Reed Clan's actions. The clerks of the Reed Clan can be moved as normal in T order. The current Overlord chooses where they are moved, keeping in mind the limit of 1 Reed Clan clerk per location, so this clerk could be placed here, but not here. When the Reed Clan activates locations, the Overlord resolves the locations in a slightly altered way. When activating the lumber mill, the quarry, or the gold mine, the Reed Clan always donates 1 unit of the resource to the warehouse. When the Reed Clan activates the temple, the active player discards 1 of their own shame tokens. If the Overlord has no shame tokens, there is no effect. When activating the Emperor's Embassy, the Overlord discards any 1 advisor from the track, slides the remaining advisors down, and draws a new one to replace it. When the Reed Clan activates the Builder's Encampment, they build 1 barricade for free, which the Overlord can then place in any unoccupied barricade slot. When activating the barracks, the Reed Clan recruits 1 spearman. The Overlord then chooses any legal vital spot to attack with the spearman. If there are no legal vital spots, the spearman is returned to its pool with no effect. The War Academy and the Logistics Center have no effect. The Tea House location works normally for the Reed Clan. For the solo game, in addition to the Reed Clan, the players will also use Qui, an AI-controlled general. The solo mode can only be used with the standard game. The goal of the solo game is to defeat Qui by gaining more honor than him. The setup for the solo mode was explained in part 1 of this series, so now we'll move on to the gameplay. At the bottom of Qui's card, you'll find a location track. He does not gather resources, and instead the location track on his card is used to indicate the level of each of his resources. Qui always tries to gather the lowest resource, so he will send his clerks to that location. In this case, the wound marker is linked to the barracks. After a location containing 1 or more clerks of Qui activates, move the corresponding token to the highest and move everything else down. Each space on this location track may never hold more than 1 token. Qui has his own set of command cards, and though they bear the same name as the standard cards, his command cards have new, different effects, so be sure to pay close attention to them. The player still benefits from any bonus provided by the Qui cards on the command track. So if Qui plays Economy, a player's Despotism card would gain its additional benefits for having that card on the command track. So a few things to keep in mind while playing the solo mode. Qui will never gain shame tokens. He does not use active advisors. Just like the Reed clan, he never saves his soldiers, nor does he leave them in the rest zone. Instead, they always come back to his pool. Chio does not gain resources to use and therefore cannot pay to upgrade overseers, hire advisors, build walls and barricades, or recruit soldiers. However, he does use resources from the warehouse when appropriate. Chio gains honor in the normal way. When he builds a wall section, he chooses the wall section shown by the current invasion indicator. If that wall section happens to be fully built, then he builds a wall on the other section. Resources from the warehouse will be discarded at that point, and he'll then gain the indicated amount of honor. Each fall, when the player chooses their command card, they'll do so as normal. Once they've chosen their command card, they'll then draw the topmost card from Chio's deck, and that will be the card he plays. Chio will always play their card in the first possible spot on the command track. On Chio's turn, he will move his clerks according to the effect of his command card. When moving clerks during the player's turn or the Reed clan's turn, he moves 2 of his clerks to the 2 locations producing the lowest resources on the location track. In this case, the Quarry and the Temple. If a clerk cannot be moved to the chosen location because it's already full, it moves to the next location in location track order. So if the Quarry were full, he would go to the Temple and the Woodcutter. If all of his clerks are already on the board, then he will move a clerk from the highest possible location on the track to the destined location. He will never send clerks to any location other than these 5 locations. When a production location containing 1 or more of his clerks activates, he gets honor equal to the location's overseer level for each of his placed clerks. In this case, 1 clerk with a level 1 overseer equals 1 honor point. He never donates resources to the warehouse. When the barracks are activated, Chi recruits 1 spearman for each of his clerks in that location. As a reminder, after a location has been activated, move the corresponding token to the highest spot on the location track. When activating locations, Chio will always activate locations that have his clerks on them first and in the order from lowest to highest of his location track. Once all of those are activated, then the players can decide the order of all other locations that need activating. When Chio recruits a soldier, he always attacks the horde on the wall section pointed to by the current invasion indicator if possible. If the spearman cannot attack the horde in that wall section, it is sent to the other. If the spearman cannot attack that wall section, then it is not recruited. When recruiting archers, he places them in a firing spot on the wall section pointed to by the current invasion indicator. If it's not possible, then the archer is not recruited. He always gets 2 honor for each wound he deals, whether it's from a spearman or from an archer, and regardless of what the actual reward is supposed to be for that location. When Chio becomes the Reed clan's overlord, either by being the active player or by being higher on the T-track than the human player, he basically follows the same rules that apply to his own clerks and soldiers. When moving Reed clan clerks, he'll attempt to place them at the lowest possible location on his card. In this case, we'll say it's the barracks. First, he'll choose to move the Reed clan clerks from any locations he does not use himself, so from here. However, if no Reed clan clerk fit that qualification, he would then start at the highest resource on his track and select which one to move based off that. If no Reed clan clerk was at the highest location, he would then begin working his way down until he found one. When he's the overlord, the Reed clan soldiers will attack following the rules of Chio soldiers. It's important to note, though, that Chio never gets any benefits from Reed actions. When refreshing the advisor track in step 3 of Spring, instead of discarding the 2 leftmost advisors, discard one of them and place the other one under Chio as a supporting advisor. He always gets 20 honor for each artifact card at the end of the game. If you want, you can really just start him with 60 points at the beginning of the game because that's what he's getting from these cards. When the player uses their own betrayal card, they can copy one of Chio's current cards, but its effects should be resolved as if it was a normal player's command card of the same name. end game conditions are exactly the same as a standard game with one exception. If the shame token pool is empty, the game ends and the player loses. Other than that, at the end of the game, after final scoring, if the player has more points than Chew, they win.